We now move on to our next speaker, the Honorable Baleka Mbete. Baleka Mbete is currently the Speaker of the National Assembly of South Africa and the first woman national chairperson of the ANC, currently in a second term of office.
Comrade Program Director, I wish to start off by congratulating our comrade Yuri Davis and saying you have nothing to be humble about. You are great, you've done well, as much as our own comrade Joe Slovo and many other comrades who had come from the community of the oppressor, but chose to join the oppressed and chose to actually take a stand and fight for the freedom of humankind. Because if you pretend things are not happening, right there where you are yourself existing, you are a person who chooses to duck, who chooses to turn a blind eye. And what we know now is that you did not do that. You chose to take a position, you chose to leave your comfort zone, you chose to stand by those who are oppressed and are still fighting for their liberation. And for that reason, we wish to welcome you, to say you are at home when you are with us, and we celebrate your greatness alongside with every other freedom-loving person around the globe. So thank you very much for who you are. And I want us to please, again, give our comrade a round of applause. The organizers of today's event had initially contacted us in a manner that gave us an impression that we had to prepare a speech. So here it is. But I got a message and a briefing last night that sought to say, no, you don't have to make a speech. You must just make some comments after the main speech and the main message would have been delivered. So I think I'll use the opportunity to say that as the freedom-loving people of South Africa, in the period of the struggle for our liberation, we were in the same trenches as the PLO. We were in the same trenches, and in fact, we have first-hand relationships in the leadership of the people of Palestine in the form of Comrade Yasser Arafat, and we had relationships between him and Comrade O.R. Tambo and many other comrades from both sides of the same generation. And they used to occupy positions at multilateral forums all over the world, talking about the need for humanity to actually continue to fight until each and every person on earth is free. So when South Africa gained its own freedom under the leadership of the African National Congress, as early as in 1994, we were already preoccupied with ensuring that we take a position, we clarify our minds, and make sure that we continue to be in support of the struggle of the people of Palestine, and make sure that when we are at multilateral bodies like the United Nations, like, for instance, the bodies that we as a parliament participate in, which is the likes of the Interparliamentary Union, we take positions where we are always seen and heard, and we express our support to the people of Palestine, and we always support for instance, I know that we were at the UN in 2012 when the ANC was celebrating 100 years, and the United Nations itself actually marked that occasion of the 100 years of the African National Congress. We had occasion to speak in support for the need of the people of Palestine to be afforded a status, to be observers at the UN, and therefore to always be able to express themselves and represent the people of Palestine themselves directly. I want to also use the opportunity to say that we have always been preoccupied as the ANC with encouraging the people of Palestine in their various formations to be united. And Comrade Davis was just reminding me of the year of the Fatah Congress. After 20 years of them being all over the world in exile, a Congress was called and convened, and I had the honor to represent the leadership of the ANC in that Congress in Bethlehem. And that was the year 2009. It was such an inspiration of a gathering. It was a gathering that brought comrades who had been all over the world, who had not seen each other, who had not been in their own country for so long. And I've never experienced, even in an ANC conference, such electric vibrancy in a gathering of people brought together by one thing, and that is their love and their determination to attain their freedom. And on that occasion, Comrade Abbas was indeed elected and confirmed, because since Comrade Yasser Arafat had passed on, he had taken the position and acted as a leader. So it was again on that occasion that the ANC took the opportunity to raise very sharply the matter of the need for the people of Palestine in various formations to be united. Because nothing is more important than being united around a program and united in action, pursuing a particular program to ensure that the values that you are fighting for, the values that would inform even what you do in the future, are taken forward by ensuring that you work together and together you move forward. And so it was in that spirit that the ANC embarked on an interaction with other political formations fighting for the liberation of Palestine. For instance, Hamas. Because we have been asked as the ANC, how could we host and meet Hamas? We did actually receive Hamas as the African National Congress. We did ensure that we expressed our own view about the need for that unity, and that we encouraged what we had always said to the people of Palestine, that united they could only be stronger. I want to highlight, Comrade Davis, the issue of the policy of the two-state nation, and an anomaly that I observed being in Palestine. And that is the fact that you do have the agreed position of the two-state solution, but you also have this continuing program of building settlements in the West Bank. And therefore, in fact, a practice of undermining the existence of what you refer to as the second state. Because when you say two states, you are talking about two states that exist alongside each other, that must live in harmony, where people must, equally respect one another. But you have a policy that is being acted on by Israel, whereby the Israelis are inviting every Jew on earth to come. And they are building settlements in the West Bank, and they are displacing people out of their homes. We literally experienced people who had been forcibly removed, like you used to see here in South Africa, being told to go out of those houses. This was my home a century ago, and next thing they are homeless, and in fact that place is being razed down to the ground and being rebuilt. So a continuing harassment of Palestinians in what is referred to as the two states solution. And therefore, we can hold on to the dream, but the reality is fast disappearing quite before the eyes of all of us. And we raise this question, and I'd like to hear your comment on that. How do we deal with this reality as time is moving on? And I had this discussion with the late Comrade Ali Halimeh, who was the ambassador of Palestine in South Africa until his untimely death a few years ago. How do we deal with this reality? And how, in fact, does the activity and, in fact, this good, program by the BDS of boycotting, divesting, and so forth out of Israel, how does it stand against the fact that you also have to continue to negotiate? And his answer was, the future ideal situation is that we should live side by side with the Jews. That's the ideal. I mean, here we are in South Africa. We still have problems in Stellenbosch. There are still issues of racism and language problems. However, as I last said when I was standing here before you last year, we have to live together. We've got to find a way that takes us there, because that's what is the future we were fighting for. We were fighting for a future where our children can grow up without necessarily noticing their color differences. We were fighting for a future where there should be choice. There mustn't be an attitude that thinks that this language is better than the other language. More resources must be put into this language and less resources in the other language. And so even there, what are we seeing? I think talking about a two-state solution, as I'm saying to you, I've seen with my own eyes. And in fact, an American lady married to an Arab man showed me a map. And she shows how much land continues to disappear into the settlements, how much smaller the West Bank is becoming, right? So you keep talking about the two-state solution. Which second state are you talking about? So what is it we are planning to do? What now must be done given this reality of an intransigent Israel? What do we do about that? You know, sometimes I watch news and you see how, depending on who is the journalist, I guess, the stories, how they are presented. Because you saw how the world was being told that these young boys who are throwing stones are very dangerous, so dangerous that we must shoot them. And in fact, a colleague of mine who was here in Parliament used to try to convince us that those boys are as dangerous as any armored car. Now, it is us, humanity or humankind, turning a blind eye to the truth. And I am very heartened by the fact that this community of students of Stellenbosch, a university that has the history of having been the seat of the birth of apartheid, is able to actually host such a progressive interaction. Because I think these are the kinds of interactions, these are the kinds of events that we must encourage, and we must actually talk honestly and talk openly about the challenges that we face, including those that Stellenbosch itself continues to face. So with those few words, I want to really thank Professor Davis and to say, congratulations, Stellenbosch. You are able to have a strike outside and all the things that you want to fall, which I don't support. I don't support things falling. Listen, let me tell you. Kaloku mna ndingumuntu omdala mna. So I'll tell you the truth. I won't say what you want me to say. I must tell you what I have to say. And I must tell the truth. Because tomorrow I won't be around. And you know what? You will be left wondering, why didn't they say so? Why didn't they tell us? I'm asking you people who want everything to fall. This must fall, that must fall, the other must fall, and that other one must fall. Tomorrow when we are gone, what will you be left with? When everything has fallen around you. I'm just posing a question. Because you see right now, igazi liyatshisa ne? Gazi liyatshisa. Nivutha umlilo. But when everything has fallen, nizawusala nantoni? Sabe singasekho thina. Kobe sekuphethe nina. Let me put this issue another way. Ungena suit. If you don't have a suit, you wish to have a suit. You see, none will be two-piece most. Now, Mamelan, so auna hempe, right? Must you burn your pants because you don't have a shirt? I'm posing a question to you, the generation that's calling for things to fall. Because I don't have a shirt, must I burn my pants? You don't want to be bothered with those issues. Ngoba at this point, igazi liyatshisa. But in another 5 years, you will be in charge. You will be in charge. And the question is, when everything has fallen, what will you be in charge of? I'm leaving you with that homework. Share no homework. Next time I come back, I want an answer. What are you going to be in charge of? But I think at this point, I must really, again, congratulate the BDS organizers of this event and say we should continue to support the people of Palestine as we continue to support all other freedom-loving people who still fight for their liberation on the earth, like the people of the Western Sahara. We must always remember all those struggles and know that in the same way that we were supported by the people of the world in our own struggle, for us to today have the freedom that we have to talk, to associate, to do all the things, to make mistakes even, that in fact we need to give the same support to other people that are fighting for their liberation. Thank you very much. Amanda!